haven't been out here in a long time. I haven't really just sat outside in a long time because of some of the rules that I have with preparing for my transplant. So I decided as long as I'm not digging in the in the dirt and all up in the garden, I should be all right. So I'm sitting out here with my favorite mug. This is my Elvis mug, which somebody has broken since I was in the hospital. It's broke all right there. So it's it broke. Let me move around because I have motion detector. Yeah, it's like broken. But anyway, sipping on a little soursop tea. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about this whole John Amos thing. And I've been seeing a lot of reports about his passing. Now I grew up watching Good Times, you know what I'm saying? And Roots. And he was a big part of a lot of people's lives, you know? So to watch what all he was going through before his passing, it's kind of heartbreaking. And with all the reports that's going on, it leads me to believe that he could have died from a broken heart. A lot of people don't think about that, but sometimes when you have family, especially kids, um, it can break your heart to see your kids throwing away everything that you work for, and you have no choice but to sit back and watch. And I believe that can be some of our torment. Um, it's good morning. Does that say Hannah? Good morning. Good morning, Hannah. Good morning, Jared Talks. I was sitting here thinking about this John Amos thing, and they were saying how the daughter said his will was changed at the last minute. Psh, no, I don't inspire to look like nobody but myself. I look like Renee, but thank you. um, yeah, they said the daughter was saying that his will was changed right before his passing. Now my light is gonna keep doing that, y'all, because I have a motion detector on my porch. So I found that to be strange. I found a lot of the videos that him and his son made before his passing were a little weird, a little off kilter. Good morning, good morning. And if y'all don't mind, give a thumbs up, comment, share, like whatever, all that good stuff. I just wanted to sit back and talk to some people about what could have been the real deep issue. What time is it here for me? It's about 6 a.m. Good morning, good morning. I have to cover up a lot because I'm not even really supposed to be sitting out here like this, but it is what it is. I just was up scrolling, watching a lot of reports on this John Amos thing, and a lot of people are saying his death seems suspicious. And I'm not going to keep on getting up for this thing. They were saying his death seemed suspicious and how his daughter was a little concerned because his will changed at like the last minute right before his passing. He was going through a lot of issues with his children. Okay, so here's my thing. A lot of people don't understand you could die from a broken heart. You see your children going back and forth. You done worked hard. You done made sure that they set, they're stable, they have a legacy to build on. Have a great day. Thank you for coming in. And to sit back and be in your old age and you know that your time is coming soon, and you have to watch your kids throw everything away that you don't work for, that was probably him being tormented. He just gave up the ghost, I believe. A lot of people were saying he probably was poisoned because his will was changed and this, that, and the other. And it could be greed. Could be the fact that one of the kids wanted more than the other or something like that. We all know how death can really bring out the ugly in family. We all know how death can make people come out of the caves who haven't even come to visit that family member, who haven't even taken care of that family member. How they could just come out of nowhere and all of a sudden they want all the rights to everything. They want what grandmama or granddaddy worked hard for. They want the car, they want the tools, they want the clothes, they want the jewelry. And you're looking around like, where were you when they needed a ride to their doctor's appointments? Where were you when they needed their hair combed? Where were you when they needed help stepping in and out of the tub? Where were you when I had to bathe them in their bed? Bathe them down in their bed and make sure I changed their linens. It's always the ones that were not there during the tough and difficult times that come out of nowhere and be like, I love my daddy, I love my mama. Oh yeah, most definitely. It's 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 a deep it's a deep depression that you can go through watching everything that you worked for just be dwindled away. And you be thinking to yourself like, I raised my family better than this, where they should know all they got to do is divide it up evenly and they'll be straight. They're set for life. I have set them up to the point where they don't have to struggle. They don't have to prove themselves. And now he had to pass. Let me pick this phone up, y'all, so I can read y'all comments good. What I know about that? Hey, I've had to watch a lot of family members go. And let me. And as a kid, you know how when you're a kid and you just observing things? My granddaddy passed when I was 11 years old. And I was a very inquisitive child. I was looking at everything. I was noticing everything. I was looking at who was crying, who wasn't. I was looking at who was going through his personal things. I was looking at who kept going to the back room. And, these were people who I hadn't seen. And I'm a grandchild's, I'm a grandparent's baby. I'm a grandparent's baby, so I always sat up under my grandparents. I didn't have to. It ain't like my parents just dropped me off and left me or whatever. I was the type of child that wanted to be around my grandparents. So when I was 11 years old and my granddad passed, I had been sitting under him for the longest while he was sick. I watched his sons come and count and lift him up so that they could put him on some clean pants because he had had a stroke. So he couldn't move the way he used to move. But I watched his sons come and take him from the wheelchair to his bed. I watched them count. Okay, on three, Pop. We got you, Pop. But then when he passed, I watched people who I didn't even know, who I hadn't even seen. Now, I done been up under my granddad all these years. I watched people come down there and say he was just like my daddy. I'm gonna miss him. I love him, and kept creeping to the back room, kept creeping through his personal things. And I'm sitting there looking like, where were you when he had his stroke? Where were you when they was trying to give him that therapy? When they was trying to move his legs, get it circulating? When they was trying to find him the special socks to put on him? Where were you? So with this whole John Amos thing, I guess I see it from a different light. He could have been sitting there watching his kids bicker, watching them go back and forth. He could have already known who the scandalous one was. We don't know. He know his kids better than we know. So he already knew who was the bossy one, and he knew who was the one that just really just was ready for him to go so that they can get the money. Let's be real about it. Every parent knows their children. And every parent knows that you can raise your children under the same roof, and you might have one or two of them come out like they've been raised in the street, and you be like, all these years I've been teaching you this, that, and the third, and here you go, you just out here like you've been raised by wolves. Every parent knows their children, especially when they get to a certain age. You know which child gonna really step up to the plate. You know which child to leave certain things in their name because you know they not gonna screw it up. You know if you got a child that got out there in the streets, you know you're not gonna leave them your house. Am I telling a story? So I feel like when he got on up there in age and it was all publicized, this all over the social media, people were constantly talking about how his kids was going back and forth. His daughter was trying to fight for certain rights. His son was trying to fight for certain rights. His son had started taking a lot of pictures with him while he was in the hospital bed. I'm pretty sure he was still in his right mind because they actually showed clips of him talking to people on the phone, and still just kind of all the way there. Of course, he was in old age, but he was still mentally there. So you don't think somebody who got to watch himself kind of deteriorate, but he's still mentally there. You don't think he noticed that he had one particular child that probably was ready for him to go? You don't think he knew if one of his kids had some debt they was trying to pay off? Family get real ugly when somebody pass, or when they feel like somebody's about to pass. Family can get real ugly. I have seen people literally try to fight at funerals in the parking lot. Where they do that at? That's so not that's so not demure. It's just it's heartbreaking to know that this man has worked for so many years, and he actually voiced his grievances about being an actor for so long. He was saying that it took him getting up in age to realize that he was part of the problem when he was acting and he was on Good Times, and he was complaining about uh, certain scenes that they had to do, and he was complaining about the fact that JJ had to keep coming in the door yelling dynamite, and he thought that was kind of, it was kind of getting old. It was an old joke, and he wanted the show to be a little bit more serious and a little bit more dedication towards all the children and not just JJ being the silly one. He wanted everybody to get like a little shine. So he was the type where he wanted all the actors on the show to have some type of moment. And he voiced this to the writers and, to the executive producers. And the way they handled it is by killing him off. Oh, I don't think I could say that word on the Tubi, but yeah, that's the way they handled it. He said he wanted everybody to get a little shine, and he didn't want JJ to just keep coming through the door yelling dynamite with a chicken hat on. He thought that the show could go, in a different direction and still keep the same momentum. This man was on Roots. This man worked his tail off. And then when he got up in age, he was probably thinking to himself, okay, I didn't do all that for nothing. I have a legacy. I have kids. They not gonna have to struggle. Even if it's not a whole bunch, they got something. They got something that they can start off with, or they got something they can build on. And a lot of people these days don't realize that if you was left anything, that's a legacy. That's something that person worked for. That's something that person was dreaming of. Like, Well, if I have to go, well, everybody has to go, but I think y'all understand what I'm saying. The person is thinking to themselves, if I have to go, I want to be able to at least leave something. Good morning, Oldham's Homestead. Good morning. I'm just sitting here talking about, how family can be when somebody passed. I'm so hurt by this whole John Amos thing because I grew up watching him on Roots and on Good Times. And I was kind of heartbroken when I saw how his kids was going back and forth and everything. I'm like, man, this man done worked all his life to make sure y'all straight and have something to build on. And now reports are coming out saying one of his kids probably did something to speed up the transitioning process. What? But we can only pray that our kids can take on what we trying to teach them, what we trying to put in them. We can only pray because once they friends get a hold to them, or once greed get a hold to them, or a certain spirit get in them, man, you could try to pull them by the coattail all you want, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And if they got that love for money in them, and if they don't have that work ethic, if they don't have the work ethic, but they want the money, so you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If they have the love of money in them, but they don't have that work ethic and actually want to get out there and work for it and save for it, you're in a world of hurt. You're in a world of trouble because that's the type of person that'll do anything for fast money. Yes. Yes. That is so true. I gotta pick up the phone so I can see your name because that's true right there. Rika, did I say your name right? Ooh, you said that. Gotta pray they won't get eaten by that guilt. That is so true. Because that guilt will tear you up. Tear you up. It's nothing like the unknowing. Like what would have happened if I would have just done this, or if I would have just took the time to do it. Miss Jojo, I love Miss Jojo. Y'all, please go check Miss Jojo out. She always got a good word coming in. Getting ready to go to work. I know it. I know it. Y'all, please go check Miss Jojo out. Wonderful spirit. Sometimes when I hear certain songs, I be like, that sounds like something Miss Jojo was saying. That just sounds like something Miss Jojo was saying. It just seemed like to me, them good hymns. And I grew up listening to good old hymns. I grew up in the times where the deacons used to actually go up to the front of the church and pull out a folding chair and actually get down on their knees and pray while another deacon would be singing and pull out an old hymn. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, so when I tell you sometimes when you talking, you remind me of the way I grew up. Please, y'all go see Miss JoJo. Go pay her a visit. If y'all like what you see, subscribe. I'm not gonna tell y'all what to. I'm not gonna tell y'all who to subscribe to, but that's somebody who you at least need to watch a couple of times and make your own decision. But yes, I just really hate with this whole John Amos thing. I had to come and just like voice how I was feeling when I was looking at all these videos and reading all the reports. Y'all, we got to be in deep prayer right now because greed, and not only greed, but the lack of empathy. People don't have empathy no more. People don't have respect anymore. So just imagine if you running around with no empathy, no respect, no regards to life, and a want to just take, but not have to work for it. Man, that is all. That's a combination that'll either have you behind bars or 6 feet deep. That's that's a combination where you try to remind your kids like, hey, when you get out there, you gotta pray over yourself. I don't care what y'all believe in, whatever you believe in, hold tight to it. You don't respect my God, you don't disrespect my God, and I won't disrespect yours. That's the way I feel. But if I stand there and I'm saying the Lord's Prayer, let me do my thing. Cause you don't know, my prayer could be breaking some chains over there on your side of town too. But this whole thing where people running around and just don't care if they family member die because they feel like they gonna get something from it. You not even caring for the person when they sick or when they need to go to the doctor or when they need help with therapy. They need to build their strength. You not even coming over there to see them. You not checking on them. You not calling to make sure they answering the phone. But then when they pass, you want to ramble all through their stuff. That's the spirit of greed. You want to, I know my daddy said I could have this. My daddy left me that, and my mama left me this and that. Where were you? Where were you when daddy needed his appointments? Where were you when mama's health started to get bad and she needed some help getting in and out the house? Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. Ooh, ain't that the truth? See, I like watching Odom's Homestead too because you can tell he's a God fearing man, but at the same time he's gonna keep it real with you. He not gonna sugarcoat nothing. He not gonna sit here and pretend and that everything is rainbows and butterflies. But he got that spirit on him where he still wants you to, hey, he still wants you to do the right thing. Just like he just said in the chat. If you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything, man. If that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. And I try my best to remind my kids that if you don't hold tight to your morals and to your spirituality, it'll be very easy for people to sway you to do things just because they want to see you fall. You got some people out there that be jealous of you and you don't even know it. You complaining thinking you got a bad life, and then you might go to school and run into some kids that's jealous of you just because you got your mom and dad at home. You might run into some kids that's jealous of you because your hair thicker than theirs. But they'll make you feel bad about your thick hair. So you go home wanting to cut off all your thick hair because they done made you feel bad about it. And then next thing you know, they trying to get thick hair. They gonna join your parent. And you thinking bad about your parent now because they gonna join your parent. And then later on in life you find out they mama left them somewhere. They mama dropped them off over a relative house and left. But they didn't say here and joined you because your mama coming up to the school. I hope my children do. They still kind of young. I have 2 adult children, and I have some teenagers and 3 younger ones. But when I was sitting here listening to this John Amos story, I was just thinking to myself about my children. I was like, Lord, please, if anything happened to me, I don't want my children bickering and fighting. I don't want them, going back and forth and trying to see who gonna get something. I want my children to always remember the things that I've taught them. I tried to teach them the best way I could. That's all a parent can do is do the best that they can, and that's the way I feel about John Amos. He did the best that he could. He worked his tail off. He worked on a few other shows that I can't even name right now. I can't even recall them, but I do always remember seeing him on my TV screen growing up with different things. And I feel like he worked his tail off. And then to sit there and get in old age and have to sit there and watch your children bicker. Watch your children go back and forth about your will while you still sitting right there. They arguing about his will while he was still living. But sometimes we just have to. Sometimes we have to just sit back and just pray and ask that the Most High step in the situation. Step in the situation. And I'm pretty sure he just gave up the ghost. You know, sitting there and having to watch your kids argue about your money while you still sitting right there. You ain't even gone nowhere yet, and they already going running to the tabloids, and they already running and talking about who mistreating somebody, and oh, I think he's going through elderly, abuse. I don't think I can say that word on YouTube, but if he was going through it, that wasn't the way to go about doing it. Run straight to the tabloids. So us normal people, we don't do that. We don't. If we feel like our great auntie down the street is not being treated right, I'm gonna tell you what we do on my side of town. And if I say one good word, y'all will know where I'm from. Shawty, we don't do that around here. If I know my great auntie up the street and somebody ain't treating her right, who's supposed to be taking care of her, guess who finna be going up there every day? Guess who finna be sitting in their face? Guess who's finna learn how to take care of their great auntie so she won't have to worry about somebody who's not blood coming in there and mistreating her? Good morning, sweet Reed. Let me see. Do I feel negative towards myself? I don't understand that question. Type it in again for me. You say, do I feel negative to myself in the same way? I don't feel negative towards anybody or towards myself. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but I always try to think positive. Even with my situation that I'm going through now, I might get a little nervous, but I cast away all negative thoughts. I cast it away to the pits of hell because the God that I serve didn't give me negative thoughts. He's not the author of fear. He's not the author of confusion. So anywhere there is confusion, I get away from it. As simple as that. But I do think clearly, like my grandmama used to always tell me, don't be nobody's fool. Don't be nobody's fool. If you feel like it's messing with your spirit, you get away. You handle that situation accordingly. If it's messing with your spirit, you have two eyes, two ears, and one mouth. You observe more than you talk. That way you can learn more about the situation before you make an educated guess as to what to do next. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but I don't do negative. As a matter of fact, if I see another content creator just constantly being negative, I kind of push my way back. Sweet Reed says she know that's right. I kind of start pushing my way back from certain content creators if I feel like they're just always negative about other people. It does something to my spirit. And like I said, my grandmama used to always say, if it messes with your spirit, leave it alone. Walk away. If I'm tuning in to get a good laugh, thank you. If I'm tuning in to YouTube because I want a little motivation or I want to smile a little bit. I love watching people grow their gardens. That's why I like Odom's homestead. I like Diana's homestead. Frugal Mama, she's starting to do her thing. She keeps saying she's a new gardener, but I think she tilling the field because her stuff be growing just as good as everybody else's. But I really enjoy watching people grow things and they're proud of it. I like to see it flourish. We've watched people grow things, herbs and stuff from seeds because they joined the challenge. Now I done watched them do the watermelon war, so I'm watching everybody's watermelon. When I'm tuning in for that, the last thing I want to see is somebody bashing somebody else or trying to, sideways throw little jabs at somebody else. And I'm picking up on it because it's like it's obvious. The Holy Spirit ain't gonna show you something for you to not act on it. All right, Miss JoJo, I know you out there with them cars. You know what? It's something about the fact that you know what you're doing with them cars that just, I don't know. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. I be like, Miss JoJo be out there with them cars. Yeah, but like I was saying, it's something about being around negative people. Like with the whole, I'm going back to the whole John Amos thing. I wouldn't be able to be around his kids. Even when I was younger, I couldn't I couldn't hang around one of my friends too much if I constantly heard them bashing their parents. And I'm gonna tell you why. Or they brothers or sisters. I was the type of person where I always had in the back of my head, if they'll do their daddy like that, and that's their dad, then what they'll do to me? I'm not blood. All right, Odom, I know you out there working. You always on the grind. If you're not at work, if you're not at work, you at the work in the garden. You're doing something. So yep, I want you to have a great weekend, and we're gonna be checking in with you real soon for what get it off your chest. Thursdays, I believe it is. Y'all check Odom's homestead out. He get on there and he let you get it off your chest. Growing is his passion. That's why I enjoy watching him. Yeah, but as I was saying, when I was growing up, if I had a friend that was always talking about, man, I can't stand my mama, or man, isn't that, and me and my mama, we didn't get along, but I never went to school and bashed her. You know what I'm saying? I never went to my friends and was like, my mama did this, my mama did that. Nope. If me and my mama had a disagreement, that was between me and my mama. I never went all in and called her out her name and all that, and I put my hands on her. I never did none of that. But me and my mom would bump heads on certain issues. And I knew my boundaries. I knew her boundaries. And I never crossed that line. So what I'm trying to say is you have to watch when people are constantly being negative. You have to watch when people are mistreating their relatives, their loved ones, especially the elders in their family. You have to watch that because if they'll mistreat their blood, their own blood, what do you think they'll do to you? Just think about that for a minute. If they will bash their own dad while he's still in the land of the living, and stand right in his face and talk about his will and talk about how the other one is ain't doing right, and they going back and forth because they want to be they want to have the rights over him. They want to make sure they put in writing that he's not able to do on his own. So they want, both of them wanted to be over his estate. While he's alive, they arguing in front of each other. Even if he clearly would say, "This is the way I want it," instead of them leaving it at that and saying, "I know, right? Facts." Instead of them leaving it at that and saying, "Okay, this is what Pops wants, so this is what we gonna do. We're gonna we're gonna respect his wishes because apparently he knows something we don't know." Instead of doing that, they stand right in that man's face while he's in old age and argue right over his living self. He is mentally there. Y'all stand right in front of this man and argue back and forth about who's going to have power of attorney and argue about his will. What? He's sitting right there in front of you and he telling you what his wishes are. If my dad, man, God forbid, love my daddy, he's going to be here for a long time with me. But if my dad was to sit in front of me and my brother and sister and say, look, this is what I want, I'm going to try my best to do exactly what it is he wanted. Because that'll be my last time to show him that I'm listening to him. That'll be the one time where I can really prove to my daddy, I got your back. You had my back, I got your back. My mom too. If she was to sit me down and say, hey, this is what I want to go down if I'm not able to speak for myself. This is how I want y'all to do it. My mama gonna have that and then some with a cherry on top. She gonna have it exactly the way she want it. I don't care if she just leave me a box. Yup, it's that pride. And you know what they say about pride? Pride come before the fall. Pride come before the fall. I'm sorry, but if your dad is telling you that this is the way he wanted, you gotta just respect that. You gotta respect that because he probably knew something we didn't know. He probably knew one of them wasn't right with money. He probably knew one of them wasn't right with paperwork. So you can't go against that. Then you gotta sit here too and you gotta think about, okay, so now they're saying they didn't report his death until like a month later. So now you got to sit back and think, well, why did they wait for so long? He built his legacy up, and his fans were really concerned about him because of what all he was going through while he was up in age. Why would you wait a whole month to tell his fans, to tell the tabloids that he passed? You didn't wait to tell the tabloids when you thought the brother was mistreating him or the sister was mistreating him. You didn't wait to tell the tabloids uh, when you felt like oh, Pop got put in the hospital and I think it's because he was being mistreated. Oh, you called the tabloids right then and there. He was still in the hospital bed. They hadn't even checked him in good. You made sure you told the tabloids that. You made sure you spread the word on that. So when he passed, when he transitioned, you held on to that for a month? Come on now. Yep. Boy, that pride will eat you up. That pride will eat you up. And sometimes you have to catch yourself when you see your pride is your downfall. You have to catch yourself. I like watching this show called Hoarders. I don't know why that's like one of my guilty pleasures. But sometimes those people have so much pride that they don't even want the people to help them, even if they're about to lose everything. They're about to lose their land, their property, their storage bins, just everything. But they fussing at people, don't want them to help them, don't want them to touch nothing. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I hope I'm saying your name right. Rika, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Like, These people on hoarders, sometimes I just be sitting there looking at the TV like, come on, y'all, please just let them help you. Just let them help you. It was just one family. Not only did they have a bunch of land, but they had a hotel in the back. They literally had a hotel that they can rent out. But their hoarding had gotten so bad that it had taken over the hotel and their living home, the home that they lived in the front of the land. And then they had a storage bin on the side or something. It was like a either a storage bin or like a tool shed or something. That was completely run over. And they still had the nerve to be like, don't touch my stuff, don't touch my stuff. And they trying to help you, saying like, we just gonna pull it out the house. I'm sorry, y'all, that's my alarm. Let me know it's time to take my medication. But so these people would let their pride get so much in the way to the point where people couldn't even hardly help them. Now that's something to think about. You walking through your house and you falling on boxes, you sliding down, you can barely get through there. If the ambulance have to come and get you, they can't get you out the house. They can't, it's they don't reported you because when they came in there to get you when you were sick, they saw the house was in bad shape and it was really unfit for somebody to live in. So they end up reporting you. So now you're in jeopardy of losing everything. You're in jeopardy of losing your land. Everybody don't own land. Y'all own land with a hotel in the back. That means you have potential income. But your pride, Rika, you done got me started with that pride. That pride will eat you up. It will eat you up. I honestly think, I really, in my heart of hearts, feel like, of course, he was up in age, but I feel like this man passed with a broken heart. I really feel like he saw his kids going back and forth. He saw his face being plastered all over, all over social media, talking about his health and everything. He got tired of it. Oh, oh, I'm so glad you touched on that. I feel like death is our freedom also. And the guilt is our judgment. Oh my God, you said that. You said that because I try to tell people of the story about when I coded when I was in the hospital. And I told my sister one time, I said, to be quite honest, I feel like hell is here. And she was like, what? What? I said, I feel like hell is here because when I coded, wherever I was, it felt peaceful. I just felt like I was in a good sleep and I was asleep, but I was alert. And I was pushed back here. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I know that song. Good morning, Sandra D. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Yes, but I had that discussion with my sister. We had a long little talk because she was, she was talking about her deceased parents and everything. And I had to tell her, I said, look, I said, if this brings you any comfort, I gotta let you know that wherever you go when you leave here, that's the peace. That's the freedom. All the heaviness, all the burden, all the pain, it's like it disappears. I don't know if that's for everybody, but that's what I felt when I coded. Being pushed back here was the torment. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. Being pushed back here, I distinctly remember saying, but they're mean down there. I don't want to go back. They're mean. And I felt like I was being pushed into some water. And I was fighting under the water because I didn't want to come back to this side. And I was pushed back to this side and told it wasn't my time. What are you doing here? It's not your time. Love you, Sandra D. So people have to understand when people get up in age and you mistreating them, you bashing them, you waiting for them to go just so you can get some money or whatever, that money don't mean jack. Them items don't mean jack. I'm a people person. So when I lost my grandparents, I lost three of my grandparents. I only had one living grandparent. When I lost my grandparents, I ain't care if I ain't have nothing. I didn't care. It was people coming through there who I had never even seen before saying that was just like my grandmama. But that was my grandmama. I ain't seen y'all over here while she was sick. I didn't see y'all over here when she suffered a major heart attack. I didn't see y'all at the center when she was going through her therapy. I, and we had to sign in a book to go into that place. Where were you then? That's what I be thinking when people, act crazy when family members pass or whatnot. The first thought that comes in my head was, where were you? Where were you when they tried to pull the family together? Where were you when the grandparents were saying, I want all my children to come together. I want all my children to come over here and just eat something. Everybody can bring something, just come over. Even if you ain't got nothing, come over. You didn't show up. But now that she gone, now you want to cry and say she was, hey, I miss my grandma. I miss my auntie, my auntie. Your name is nobody. I don't know about that name, but hey, if it suits you. Have a blessed day, sweet Reed. I'm not hiding. I'm out here on my porch and I have a motion light and it keeps going off and on. I don't have to hide. I have a channel. So if anybody wants to see my face, they can always go to my channel. You can always go to my channel. I don't have to hide from anybody. They have a wall. Yeah, you are so right. I just sit back and I wonder, right before he passed, I want to know what was on his mind. This was a man who had strangers walk up to him and say, man, you were like a dad to me because when you was on good times, you know, I just really looked up to you or whatever, whatever. And he said that when he was older in age, he said he had strangers walk up to him and really show gratitude about the character that he played. So he had strangers tipping their hat to him, telling him thank you for all the work you put in with the acting. You have strangers coming up to him and saying thank you for being a positive black male figure on television and not the typical like stereotype type of thing. And then he got his own kids pondering over his death while he's still alive. Are you serious? When your parents get up in age, you better enjoy their laughter. Enjoy their laughter. Sit back and talk to them. You'll be surprised. You would be surprised if you sit back and just talk to the elders. Sometimes they'll have you cracking up. Sometimes they'll tell you things you never even imagined them doing. They'll tell you about their heyday. They happy to tell you. They happy to have somebody listen to them. Don't neglect the elders, y'all. Don't neglect them. Don't use them for whatever they done worked for. If if they want to leave it for you, they'll leave it for you. But don't concentrate on that. Concentrate on loving them while they're here. Concentrate on taking care of them while they're here. Especially if they have to go into a home or something like that. Go up there and check on them. Call them. That way you'll know if they in the house by themselves. That way you'll know if something is wrong. Because if you calling them on a consistent basis, like if you're calling them every other day, me personally, I would call every day at the same time. But we all have a life. We're all busy. But if you're calling them at the same time all the time, they're gonna look forward to that phone call. And if you call them one day at that same exact time and they don't answer, get your tail over there. Get your tail over there. If you can't get there fast enough, it's a way you can call it in and say, hey, I need y'all to do a wellness check. Because she always answer my call. And you can say it with passion because you know that you know that you know. You're not just saying it just to get the ball rolling and get somebody over there. You can say it with your heart of hearts. She don't miss my call, so I need somebody to go over there and check on her. I'm on the way, but I need somebody to get there quicker than me. Love on your elders. Love on your parents. Even when they start going through the stages of dementia or whatever the case may be, love them through it. If it get too hard for you, get help. But love them through it. Don't sit there bickering about what they leaving you. That's not what matters in that moment. In that moment, what matters is you take advantage of every moment you are gifted with your parents in your life. I was a wild child. Not wild as far as like I didn't do drugs, I wasn't in the street and that like that, but I was a wild child as far as like I was constantly doing something. I would sign myself up for band because I wanted to be in band. I would just, be outside riding my bike, riding to the creek, riding down the hill, and I just did stupid stuff like that. But I tell you one thing, I'm the mouth. When it come to my mom and daddy, my sister and my brother, they are more like they are the ones that's gonna make sure everything is decent in order. That's one thing I will say about my sister and brother. They're gonna be the ones that think, and they're gonna they're gonna handle paperwork and stuff. They're gonna do things decent and in order. Me, if I find out somebody mistreat my parents in their old age, or if I feel like my parents was slipping, I'm gonna tell my parents, "Hey, Pop, you slipping. Hey, Mama, that wasn't right. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna think positive." And I'm gonna pull my parents back in. I don't want my parents being in a negative setting. I don't want my parents thinking about, well, when I go or if I go or whatever. I don't even want them thinking like that. I don't even want them talking like that. So let alone I don't want to stand over them talking about it. I understand you got to know certain things like insurance. You got to know, what their last wishes are. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's have a meeting about it and let's square it away and I'm done with it. But I'm not finna sit here and be bickering with my brother and sister about about who's getting what. Who's getting what? I am a grown woman. I don't need my parents to pass in order to have something. Their dad had worked his behind off to make sure they was at least okay. You mean to tell me being okay is not good enough for you? Having a legacy of your dad was John Amos, that's not good enough for you? Y'all can build on the name alone, but you want more. You want more. So everything he did wasn't good enough. And I understand one sibling might feel like they did more than the other one. So what? Squash that. Squash that. Squash that sibling beef. Now make your daddy proud. Now that he's on the other side, make him proud. Yeah, I just don't know. I really feel in my heart of hearts that that man died of a broken heart, watching his kids bicker over who was in his last will and testament. And now that he's gone, his daughter is saying his will was changed right before he passed. Oh, now you want to tell us that, but you didn't want to tell us when he passed? What? Who was there when he passed? Who was holding his hand when he passed? Y'all better love on y'all parents, man. Love on your parents. I'm still blessed to say that I have both of mine. But at the same time, I have to live on the other side, knowing that now my parents have to take care of me because now I have leukemia. My mom and dad weren't the best of the best. Nobody is. Nobody is perfect. But they mine. It's my mama and my daddy. They are mine. And I'd be damned if I let anything like money mess that up. Rika, it was real good talking to you. You are a very insightful person. I really appreciate you coming in and chiming in. I hope you come back and visit me sometime. I promise you I'm not always this amped up. Have a wonderful weekend. Yes, y'all. I just want everybody to understand we living in a day and time now where greed and a lack of empathy, a lack of sympathy is taking over. And I don't know who you believe in. I really don't get into all of that. But me personally, I believe in the Most High Yah, the Most High God. He's called by many names, so I don't get all hooked into that either. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that we got to start pleading the blood of Jesus. Plead the blood of Jesus all over your house. Because when I tell you the enemy is coming in through every way it can. It's seeping in. Thank you. Yes, it's the enemy finds any type of way to seep in. And see, these kids these days don't even understand subliminal messages. They don't understand the video games that they play could be sending them subliminal messages. They don't understand the addiction that comes with it. They don't understand the power in pornography. Y'all know what I'm saying? They don't understand the power in listening to all types of music over and over again. They don't understand that becomes chanting, chanting, chanting. I studied witchcraft. I was delivered from witchcraft. So I understand things from a different side. Been there, done that. I understand how people can astral project and be in your home and you not even know it. Because they trying to cause ruckus. All because they don't want to see you happy. Whatever y'all believe in, you better hold tight to it. Because now it's getting to the point where the word is coming full fruition. What y'all think wars and rumors of wars mean? You think that mean country against country, continent against continent? Wars and rumors of wars mean little wars here and there, all over the place. Big wars, little wars. So that can mean in your home also. Children against children. Parents against parents. Parents against children, children against parents. It can be all types of ways. This man was so proud of his children. And when he got up in age, They started fighting over his money. So pleading the blood of Jesus is demonic? Okay. That that whole comment had to go. Somebody tells you they were delivered from certain things and they've studied different things, you might want to pray over yourself. You might want to pray over yourself. So, as I was saying, it's strong out here now. The enemy is holding tight and he's getting in any kind of way he can see that he can get in. Whatever way you let him in, he's going to come in full force. That old song used to say, don't let the devil ride because he going to want to drive. That song is true. Don't let him ride. Don't give him a lead way. Don't even give him a slither. Because he going to come in and he gonna rear his ugly head. And that's when you really got to get into the word. Like I said, I don't judge nobody else's religion. So don't come in here judging mine. Because I know what I went through. And I know what has delivered me. And if you want more on that, I'll do a video on that too. But for right now, I'm talking about this whole situation with treating your elders a certain way, all because you feel like their end time is coming. And then when they pass, you all gonna bickering over money, over a will. That's not even what life is all about. He done already set y'all up. Y'all straight. Y'all good. Leave it alone. So now what y'all gonna do now that he gone? Now y'all finna keep the whole battle thing going to stay relevant? That man worked hard. That's all I keep thinking about. That man worked hard to leave a legacy. That's gotta be a hurting feeling. To still be in the land of living and watching your kids argue over your will. That's gotta be a hurting feeling. And then you don't want to hurt your children's feelings. But like I said, he probably saw some things in one of them that we didn't know. A parent knows their child. Hey Tam Tam, what's going on? Good morning. Thank you, Sandra D. I felt like I had to vent, like I had to get it off my chest. It's like when I saw all the news reports of what's going on with John Amos, I'm like, good times, Daddy. James Evans, Roots. He played on Roots, and I started looking at all the reports like, why are they doing all of this? And this man done worked hard to make sure y'all are straight. You got people out here that if their parent passed, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. Your dad passed and he still made sure y'all was okay. And y'all still fighting. You still want to prove a point. Let that man rest in peace and make him proud. I'm sorry, but I just can't even imagine losing one of my parents and just want to talk about the will. I'm sorry, but it just seemed weird to me. It seems like you would want to be able to talk to them again. It seemed like to me you would want to be able to hug them again. You know, hear some wisdom from them again. Some words of encouragement when you're going through. And these folks just don't understand. We living in a generation now where people have no regards for the elders. And I feel bad for that. I love sitting around and talking to the elders. I love it. Especially when they start laughing. I love to hear somebody up in age having a good time and laughing and doing something that they enjoy doing. That's one of the best feelings in the world, to sit back. Have you ever sat back and listened to somebody laugh who you haven't seen smile in a while? If I haven't seen you smile in a while and then all of a sudden I get a big chuckle out of you, a good laugh, that that blesses my whole day. I really honestly feel like even if he wasn't the type of dad they wanted him to be, I just feel like it's a certain level of respect and love and admiration that should come with the simple fact that he made sure y'all was okay. He worked hard to make sure his legacy could continue. No parent is perfect. I know this. No parent is perfect. No child is perfect. But respect can go a long way. A long way. No, Sandra D. We're gonna we're gonna pray for your husband. I'm gonna put him deep in prayer. And I'm gonna pray for you as well. On her phone, speeding. No regard. No regard. I'm putting you on my prayer list, Sandra D. Cause that's, I don't know if I talked about it on here before, but I had a friend when I was in elementary who passed from a uh, drunk driver at the stoplight. So that means y'all were hit full force, full force. We're gonna keep him lifted in prayer, most definitely. And as you can see, I don't know if you saw the comments that was left on here. I had people calling me demonic and everything or whatever, but when God delivers you from something, when God delivers you and put it in your heart to stay prayerful and to keep him first, you have to respect that. Cause I've come a long way, y'all. I've come a long way. I used to be so disobedient to the word and rebellious. I questioned everything. I questioned everything. But when I got to know God for myself, and my sister just gifted me this book called She Reads Truth, and I've been getting into that. Y'all, the word of God is true. That's all I can say. And when I pray, God listens. And then messed you back. And you already was having, you gonna be in my prayers most definitely, Sandra D. Cause I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that. I'm not the type that do a lot of like boasting and praying for the world to hear me, or like if I do something that I feel like is the Holy Spirit leading me to do it, I don't talk about it. I don't knock anybody else who do it, but that's just not who I am. But I will be praying for you and your family. Not to get anything out of it or whatever, but That's messed up. We're living in a world where people don't care. Now how's she on her phone? Now let me talk like I grew up talking, because I try to correct the way I talk on here. I try to speak correct, but this deserves a shouting. How Shotty finna be speeding on her and on her phone at the same doggone time? That 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 in itself is just crazy to me. Usually, if people even trying to slick be on their phone, they slow down. Mm. I noticed that the last video I saw you was doing, I couldn't comment on it. It was a live. You was on your porch though, and I couldn't comment on it. It kept saying something about this action could not be complete or whatever. But I was sitting there, um, in and out, because it was buffering a lot too. But I was trying to still give you that watch time, so I just let it play in the background. But I didn't know all that had happened. I didn't know all that had happened. But y'all, I'm about to head in because I was supposed to take my meds about 30 minutes ago. But that was just on my heart, on my mind, and my spirit, to speak on how we treat the elders. And I just really, really want y'all to know that we gotta tighten up when it comes to that. We gotta tighten up. Tam Tam still in here. She told the police, well, at least she told them she was on the phone. Some people are lying, say they wouldn't. Thank you so much, y'all, for coming through and just listening to me vent and just getting it off my chest. I really, really feel so bad for what this family is going through, and I send my condolences to his entire family, friends, everybody who was close knit with him. But I just really feel in my heart of hearts that he passed of a broken heart. And the only thing that can help now is that if they make their daddy proud, make him proud while he's in the spirit realm. And I think that'll make it right. But until next time, gracias por ver. Thanks for watching. The sun has come up now. Thanks for watching. Adios. Bye.